Stackhouse, Armstrong, Howard, Michael Finley, Nowitzki, the Dallas 5. Stackhouse around the Howard screen. It's Richardson and Nash fighting for the loose ball with Barbosa, Marion, and Stoudemire on the Phoenix 4.
You see Armstrong, no pressure. Steve Nash, 94 feet. And what'll happen, they'll bring a bigger defender on him then to try to use some strength against him. Look at this.
Nash again. How easy can it get for Steve Nash?
But see, they don't want him to kick out to the three-point shooters. That's their whole game plan right now, is take away his assists and make him score big.
Nash has 31 in 31. Armstrong for 3. Barbosa has it. A quick releasing Shawn Marion at the other end.
Avery Johnson's going to want to take a timeout. Down to 11. Long shots mean long rebounds. He's actually waved the timeout off.
Dallas led by 21 points in the first half. Led by 16 at halftime. Armstrong is down. That is a foul. Steve Nash has tied a playoff career high with 31 points.
Well, Steve Nash left, Steve Nash right. He's had it all his way tonight in terms of scoring. Shawn Marion out there with a powerful finish. They've cut it to 11. They'd like to get this to single digits going into the fourth quarter. Well, Steve Nash has been terrific in this quarter. Talk about the little jump shot he pulls up and knocks down off the screen roll. Gets in the lane, the little flipper over the right shoulder. Once again, the little step back jump shot. He has 18 of the Suns' 24 third quarter points. And you can see the philosophy. Kevin, we're going to show you on the telestrator exactly what they're doing. Here's Nowitzki. And on this screen roll as Nash comes in here, they're going to be worried about three-point shooters. They don't want to help. And they're basically saying, you know what? Nash, you get in the lane. We're going to take away the dunk from Stoudemire. Said they're not going to let him drop the ball. If you lay it in, no threes from these guys. And we think that in the long run, we'll be able to beat you because Steve Nash inherently wants to pass the basketball. He does not want to shoot the basketball 25 times. Tonight he has 19 shots, Stoudemire only 6.
Wow. That is so counter to what we've seen. Here's Michael Finley with 10 on the shot clock and a well-designed Avery Johnson play coming out of that break. Jackson is in for Richardson. That was the lone change for Phoenix. Nash finds the aforementioned Jimmy Jackson for 3. Stoudemire looking for the rebound. Just an aside note, since Dampier has been out, and at that time the lead was 16 for Dallas, the lead now cut to, was 11 points. Now it's back up to 13. But Dampier picked up his 4th foul, and that has changed the feeling of what Dallas can do defensively and certainly on offense.
Well, it's interesting, but this is really the first time that Nowitzki has played against Stoudemire. Normally he does not guard him, so now with Dampier being out, rather than put a smaller guy on, they put Nowitzki on him, and he does have a body big enough to try to help keep him out of the lane a little bit.
And Marquise Daniels is in the game. And that was a foul, and it's inside. Looks like Stoudemire has picked up his 4th personal foul. I can't recall a game in the playoffs where he has been in foul problems.
Well, normally the Phoenix Suns don't foul. We talked about that, and they know that especially being short-handed, they cannot get in foul trouble. Amare Stoudemire now with 4. We're going to see what happens here. Looks like Walter McCarty will come into the game for the last 2:20. And can the Suns stay close enough so in the fourth quarter when Stoudemire comes back that it will make a difference?
Marquise Daniels at the free throw line. A look at Stoudemire, who was the 9th overall pick. That was a surprise to some that he fell so far in the draft because he was maybe the top-rated player.
Well, it's interesting because the year before was the year of the high school player. That was Kwame Brown, Tyson Chandler, Eddie Curry, DeJounte Diop. And most of those players struggled their first year. And I think one of the reasons why he slipped down was because of that. And as well, he hurt his shoulder and really didn't work out for a lot of teams other than the Phoenix Suns.
Nash. Rebound by Dirk Nowitzki. He has corralled 4 rebounds tonight. Takes it the length and a foul. Little shove.
Going to be an offensive foul on Dirk Nowitzki as he pushed off Walter McCarty. Watch his right arm. If it gets away from him, that's a little bit of a touch foul, but a smart play by Walter McCarty to get in there and flop a little bit. Mark Cuban sure doesn't like it.
What Avery Johnson say in the Dallas Morning News today? He said he's the least respected MVP caliber that there is right now in the NBA. He doesn't get any calls. He used the words least respected of all.
Well, you know, but he was frustrated because he didn't get to the foul line the other night in the fourth quarter.
There's a foul.
See, now they got to change their defense here a little bit. With Stoudemire not in the game, you can play the screen roll a little differently. See, this is Walter McCarty. You don't have to be so concerned about him as you are with Stoudemire. So now you've got to be able to go at Nash, trap him, make him throw that ball back to Walter McCarty, maybe make him shoot a three-point shot.
Finley picked up his second foul. Three-point play converted by Nash, who has put in a fantastic 21 points of his 34 in this third quarter.
And the Suns are hanging around. Stoudemire's on the bench with fouls. Can they get this into single digits?
Michael Finley picked up by Barbosa. Daniels trying to swoop in, and a foul on Jimmy Jackson, who is assessed his third foul.
See, that's what happens when you have to try to go over and give help. You had a defender go over to try to help out on Michael Finley. Now you've got one Phoenix Suns guy trying to block two Dallas Mavericks off the offensive boards.
Free throw shooting has been basically the same. Tonight now, Dallas 15 of 20. Suns 14 of 18.
The Mavericks in the season go 28 times to the line during the regular season. Here's a turnover. That's Steve Nash's 8th turnover of the game. He only has 3 assists.
Dallas is shooting 55%. They go inside, Stackhouse to Daniels to Stackhouse. And he had it picked up by Steve Nash on the pickpocket. Nice knock away by Terry with the deflection, but right to Walter McCarty. Phoenix is at 49% from the floor for the game. Nash again. Steve Nash has put in a game-high 36 in 33 minutes.
He's keeping his team in the game, Kevin. Can they help him in the finish of the fourth quarter?
He's doing everything he can do. And there's an interception by Marion. 3-on-3 the other way. Barbosa. No fouls to give either way in the final 39 seconds of the third quarter. Nowitzki on Nash. Daniels on Barbosa.
Very flat shot there. That one had no chance to get in. It was about 5-second differential here. So Phoenix should get the last shot of the quarter unless they give up an offensive rebound.
Dallas, speaking of that, Dallas leads in rebounding overall by 5. Four-second difference. Game clock, shot clock. Counter! Nowitzki fouled by Walter McCarty.
This has been his best offensive game in terms of efficiency. 11 field goal attempts, knocks this one down, gets fouled, 20 points, point for 21. So what kind of efficiency, boy, Kevin? 11 field goal attempts, 4 from the line, 4 rebounds, 3 assists.
That's his first field goal, Doug, of this third quarter. But doing other things, you talked about his efficiency of his game.
Absolutely, shooting a very high percentage, which I think is very key to his game. Nash doesn't know the clock.
He sure doesn't.
Boy, you don't see him make that mistake very often. Remember in game 2, we saw him get a backcourt violation, 8 seconds with nobody guarding him. That time, lost sight of the shot clock. Steve Nash was brilliant in that third quarter.
Will Phoenix go up 3 games to 1? Will Dallas tie the series at 2 apiece? You're watching Game 4, Western Conference semifinals on TNT. Dallas by 14 at the end of 3. They led by 16 points, Doug, at halftime. So Dampier picks up his foul with about 9.5 remaining. He's gone. Nash scores this 23-point third quarter, and all Phoenix can do is make up 2 points.
Well, the efficiency of Dallas are shooting 56%, so they're going to have to get some defensive stops if they're going to have a chance to win this game, Kevin. Now it's going to be interesting because Steve Nash is going to rest. So how long can he sit over there before Mike D'Antoni has to bring him back? So this group now that's on the floor, you look at Shawn Marion, Barbosa, Jimmy Jackson, Stoudemire, and Quentin Richardson. They have to give them a nice couple minutes here so that Steve Nash can come back in and give him a chance to win the game.
Doug just told you who's out there for Phoenix. Terry, Stackhouse, Finley, Marquise Daniels, and Nowitzki for Dallas. That gives you our lineups for the final 11:44 of regulation.
Look at that, 3 guys over on Stoudemire, forcing him to pass the basketball.
It's Jimmy Jackson just bulldozing his way in, willing his way for 2.
Where did that come from, Jimmy?
Barbosa guards Jason Terry. Terry tonight only 2 of 7 and 4 points, and they were expecting a bigger game out of him.
Yeah, but his floor game has been good, Kevin. He has 7 assists, has 3 steals. So he's not shooting the ball a lot, but he's had a good floor game.
Shot clock at 2. Nowitzki's got a fire over Jackson. Rebound by Richardson.
Basket here really tightens things up.
Jimmy Jackson. Nowitzki got on him on defense. Stackhouse, Michael Finley. Daniels is open for 2.
Well run fast break. Move the basketball, get a wide open 15-footer. Marquise Daniels done a nice job off the bench today. 9 points, 3 of 3 from the floor.
Go inside to the double team. Stoudemire, who's been a straight jacket all night long, covered with one Dallas defender after another. And against, just to show you the kind of drought that he has experienced, Stoudemire gets his first field goal since the 7:03 mark in the second quarter.
They are committed to not letting him score a field goal. They're going to make him make free throws. That one's sort of an over-to-the-shoulder shot. I don't think we've seen a dunk from him today.
No.
They've kept him away from that rim.
Good call.
He had 8 dunks in game 3.
How about that graphic we put up earlier in the game about how many points he gets with layups, dunks, and free throws? I mean, the majority of his points in this series have come in those 3 areas as he watched Nowitzki pick up his 4th foul, and Stoudemire completes the 3-point play.
You see, the Suns aren't running today because their defense hasn't been good enough to stop Dallas, so everything they're doing is sort of in a half-court situation where Dallas can get back and help build the wall on Stoudemire so he can't get out those run-outs that he normally gets.
Marquise Daniels finding newly instated Eric Dampier. Richardson with the dance on Terry and the try by Dampier.
All this happening with Steve Nash on the bench. The lead has been cut to 9. Avery Johnson wants to take a timeout. Mike D'Antoni can buy a couple more possessions. Got a chance to come in and make a strong finish. Dallas has got to pay attention.
The last time Phoenix had a deficit of less than 10 was 35-26 with 10 minutes left in the first half. They've come back from 21 down to within a 95-86 reach. Doug, the 4th quarter in the Houston series, the 4th quarter for Dallas in the Phoenix series, very much under the microscope.
Well, they've been outscored 7-2, and you can see in the wins, they've shot well. They got 3-point percentage has been good. Their free throw attempts. They're down 7-2 to start this quarter. When they don't shoot it well, it's when it's caused them all kinds of problems. So let's see what Avery Johnson gets out of this timeout. I would have to think Dirk Nowitzki, probably some kind of screen roll with Jason Terry.
Nash remains on the Phoenix bench with the game-high 36. It's Howard from Nowitzki. Inside taken away by the Phoenix Suns. Nowitzki guarding Richardson for 3. Picked up by Stackhouse inside. Dallas +5 in rebounding in the game.
But the Suns could have got a better shot than that. That was under duress.
Stackhouse rejected by Richardson. And a foul on Quentin Richardson.
Yeah, they're going to call a block on Quentin Richardson. Maurice Stoudemire got the shot clean at the top. But watch Quentin Richardson. They're going to say he is in the restricted area. That's a big break for the Dallas Mavericks as Jerry Stackhouse will go to the line to shoot 2. But here's Stoudemire with a nice block. But Quentin Richardson likes to take those offensive fouls, and his feet were in the restricted area. That's why that foul was called. Stackhouse knocks it down, and here will be Nash coming back into the game for Quentin Richardson.
Doug, we were wondering before what Stackhouse is wearing. He got this body armor on, and Cheryl, you've been able to come to the bottom of what this outfit is all about.
Yeah, actually, he's been wearing it all season long, and it's called supportive underwear, so to speak, and it's two separate pieces. He wears the upper body just for comfort, but the lower body to keep his knees warm. He's had a problem all season long with tendonitis, guys.
Thank you, Cheryl. Stoudemire. Nash back in, and Barbosa fouled by Jason Terry. Out of the corner is where he was trying to drive. That's the first foul on Terry. Doug, the balance of Phoenix's offense was one of the big things we were going to watch tonight, and that certainly has been unbalanced, out of whack.
Well, the three's been taken out of the game. There you go. Stoudemire's the first time, and he's challenged by Dampier at the rim.
And this is Jackson trying to come in. And Jackson again. Look at Dampier's defense inside for Dallas.
What a terrific effort by Dampier. 2 blocks on the one play.
Inside to Howard. What a pass to Josh Howard, who lays it up and lays it in. Stackhouse with the assist. And Josh Howard with a playoff career high 25 points.
See, those are the kind of plays that will endear Eric Dampier to this crowd. Stoudemire looked like he was going to go up for the dunk, but he got hit on the arm on that play. Should have been shooting 2 free throws. And here comes Jimmy Jackson, misses the play. Loose ball picked up. He comes over and gets another block shot, which leads to a fast break and a 3-point play opportunity there for Josh Howard, who misses the free throw. But I thought that Dampier fouled Stoudemire on that dunk. Looked like he hit him on the right shoulder.
Stoudemire now has 5 personal fouls, as does Richardson for Phoenix. Here is Nash. Mismatch on Dampier. Slips it over on the side to Stoudemire. Shot clock is down to 5. Barbosa for 3. Hustling Barbosa. And a foul on Dallas and Josh Howard.
Well, you can just see how much Phoenix misses a guy like Joe Johnson in a game like this, because they have one less offensive player out on the floor that creates. Remember when Steve Nash would sit down, he's been the backup point guard since the Memphis series, so they really miss him being on the floor. His 3-point shooting.
Steve Nash nails a 3-point shot, and tonight Nash 3 of 5. Shooting the triple with a game-high 39 points. And knocks that one out of bounds with 16 on the shot clock. Nash got the free agent offer from Phoenix, and then against the wishes of the Suns, went back to Cuban and said, would you like to match it? Mark Cuban and Dallas said, no, we will not match. And now he's a Sun. Dallas put that money that they could have paid Nash into Dampier. This is Nowitzki. Did he travel? And it call it. He goes up again. And Jackson with the rejection. And Stoudemire comes up with the loose ball. Nash. The switch without Dampier on Nash.
Look at Nash. That ball's like on a string.
Yo-yo. Shot clock at 4. Outside, Barbosa maneuvers for 2. And Nowitzki corrals his 6th rebound.
I would have got it under double digits to 8. That would have been the closest they've been in a long time.
Stackhouse against Barbosa. Counted for 2 and a goaltend on Amare Stoudemire.
That's a matchup. Jerry Stackhouse just too strong for Barbosa. Again, this is where you miss a guy like Joe Johnson. Quentin Richardson on the bench with fouls. Stoudemire comes over. Looks like just as that ball hit the backboard, he got a piece of it.
Nash over Dampier.
Come on now.
Steve Nash with 41 points in 36 minutes.
And that was over the top of Dampier. That was some kind of shot.
Stackhouse. Well, he flew in with no Phoenix defense at all.
Well, nobody was communicating that time with Phoenix. You see Barbosa talking to Jimmy Jackson. Jimmy Jackson wants to guard Stackhouse to take away his post play.
Nash for 3. Oh, Steve Nash has put in 44 points.
That's within 9.
What an incredible game for Nash. Stackhouse facing a double.
might be a 5-second count. Very close to a 5-second count. Jerry Stackhouse just